Howdy, howdy. Sudevil here, and welcome to a quick speculation video before the announcement comes out tomorrow from CA about the upcoming DLC. Now, I wanted to go over it today, right before, because it's fun to speculate and to put these things together and to think about what might be coming, and to look at speculation I've done before and speculation of future DLC. Now, at some point last year, I did a little bit of DLC speculation after we saw the update for the High Elves and where we got Ungram to his new starting spot. So I thought I'd do a little bit of an update on that, where I think that guess is going, what I think is going to happen tomorrow, and what I think is going to happen into the future, into Game 3. So first of all, it's been very clear from the hints that CA has dropped is that we are getting something to do with pirates, and we are definitely getting Luther Harkon from the Vampire Coast. He was practically named by a nickname. And so this is going to be very pirate themed. And my original DLC speculations, I thought CA would actually be coming out with the DLC for the Skaven and the Lizardmen to give them their regiments of renown and everything in September, and then have this big Four-Lord pack right before Christmas for sort of that time of the year. And now it's coming into October. Maybe this comes near the end of October or into November. This is the big DLC package. It's probably meant to hit the Christmas season, and then the DLC for the Skaven and Lizardmen will come later. Whether it'll come in sort of January, February, it's hard to say. And I think after that we don't get much of anything until Game 3. So they're probably just stretching it out, because I'm guessing Game 3 sort of looking at next spring, sort of June-ish, for a release date. So they're trying to stretch it out, is what it would guess, what it looked like to me. So this is going to be a pretty big deal. I think there's going to be a lot more to this than we think. Now, originally when I'd gone through the speculation and looked at the Vampire Coast, I didn't think it would be included because, there is a lot of undead already in the game. That said, the Vampire Coast have very unique units. They aren't just vampire counts. They are very different. They don't just have Fellbats. They have Fellbats that drop bloated corpses as bombs. I mean, there's some really cool, fun, unique units. They don't have a lot by the sounds of it. I'm not an expert on the lore at all, but it is clear that the Vampire Coast is going to be in the game. And then Sartosa is also specifically named and is going to be in the game. So the Vampire Coast is over here in Lustria. There are 3 lands in here. We can, I'll just stay zoomed out. We have this is where Luther Harkon will probably be, and then we have Sartosa, which is known as sort of the pirate island. It's a free island. Now it is actually in Talea. It's part of Talea right now, but in the lore it's not. It's just outside. It's sort of like has no rulers, and that's the pirate's home, and it's right by the pirate coast. So in this big DLC, I thought it would be the Southern Realms that would be really laid out, meaning Astalia, Talea, and the Border Princes, being that they have a lot of unique units and the Dogs of War, a lot of mercenaries, and a lot of really interesting lore. And we have the possibility for some extremely unique units, like even potentially halflings or something like that, as a mercenary squad. Potentially ogres. I could see ogres and halflings being surprise units in this DLC to really bring some extra hype, because it's going to be a long time before Game 3 is out, if I'm right. And, so it's possible this is going to be pretty big. I think the 4 Legendary Lords are going to do is going to be on the Vampire Coast. They're going to do one for Astalia, one for Talea, one for the Border Princes, and I think they make Sartosa a special island that's not part of Talea anymore, so that it has something to do with these states that are, they're sort of city-states, but have a lot of mercenaries and outlaws, are vying to control Sartosa or do something there. And there's also going to be, I think, a very important new game mechanic that is specific to these factions, but will allow other factions to eventually get involved. So, for example, the gameplay in the game mode for the Vampire Coast, Astalia, Talea, and Border Princes will really center around piracy, and I think, and the high seas and things that they can do out there. But that'll eventually give the High Elves something to do. The High Elves have a very big navy, and the same with the Dark Elves. The Dwarfs, the dour even have a bit of a navy, and this really, Astalia, Talea, and the Border Princes really, this is something that I've been looking forward to a long time because I played against the Border Princes a lot, and they just have Empire troops. I hope that they get included, but I think that's what it looks like. We're 4 Legendary Lords, Vampire Coast, Astalia, Talea, and Border Princes, and Sartosa gets changed to its own special island. It's a special target for all of the pirates that are going to be involved here. That'd be my guess. It could be, of course, completely wrong. There are some mention of some things in the letter that came out that could lead to something else completely different, but this feels like it makes a lot of sense to me, and it gives, with the Astalia, Talea, and Border Princes, and not so much the Vampire Coast, but the Southern Realms, it also gives the ability to periodically release a cool mercenary unit that will just bring some hype into the game. Then, because this is really going to be their big hoopla for the Christmas season, maybe they do the next DLC in February, you know, which is going to be Lizardmen Skaven and all the regiments of renown, and they hopefully do something cool with that. And then from there on in, it's going to be Warhammer 3, All Guns Blazing, where I think the pre-order faction is going to be Kislev. I still think it's going to be Kislev for the pre-order faction for Game 3. Because I think Game 3, and well, I think everyone thinks Game 3 is going to take place. I mean, it's on the map almost already. It's going to take place here in the where the Ogre Kingdoms are, and the Chaos Dwarves, and we'll have Chaos up here. I think this might be expanded this way somewhat. Maybe we even see Hobgoblins. That's a very good chance. I mean, we will see Hobgoblins as a unit, but they might be Hobgoblin Kingdoms, because they got some very interesting units up and over here, and very potentially Ind and Cathay and Nippon and kind of places like that, but you never know. The key being that we're getting pirates. It's just gonna be fun. It's coming in time for Halloween. You know, kind of get your arr ready. And I have a feeling this is going to be a big deal. If you look at what's happened in Total War Warhammer, which is, I would guess, it's CA's biggest game by a chunk right now, the most hype, the biggest revenue generator. Not much has happened in a long time, so I think they decided to do this right, so they don't have what happened with Mortal Empires in the second game, releasing and then having the kind of the long wait for Norska and everything. I think they're really trying to get all their ducks in a row, but to get all your ducks in a row, it's going to take a little bit extra time. So they've been really quiet, with the exception of, you know, a silly comment by one of the not the devs, one of the community managers recently, and you know, some little things here and there, but there's been very quiet on this front, and I think it is really the calm before the storm. I think we're going to get a really big, impressive, super fun. I have very high hopes for this, because this is the big revenue generating vessel for Total War Warhammer for the end of 2018, so I have a feeling it's going to be quite good. And then really the stuff for the Lizardmen and Skaven is going to be quite simple, I think. There may be a few unique units, but really it's going to be very, very simple in terms of the amount of total effort. It might already be partly done. It won't take long. That'll give the team all the time they need to go full gun blazing on Kislev and Game 3. So I'm really excited. This is going to be so fun, and I've been waiting to play a Belagar Ironhammer campaign, and this might be the perfect time. We get Sartosa here. You know, some kind of special pirate island, and Talea and Border Princes with new units, and these vampire, well, the Vampire Coast here with their new units. Be a perfect time to start a Belegar Ironhammer campaign, I think, and have a lot of fun. You know, I've looked at doing this campaign over and over. It's actually, I've just fiddled around with it. It's a bit of a tricky campaign, I think, to get right, but the legendary campaign I want to do is going to be focused not on getting to Karakate Peaks over here right away, but really securing this. And part of securing this area is actually going to Lucchini and getting that port and starting your trade through Zarek Zil, and eventually going to Marangliano, which is a bit of a mouthful, and starting to trade like that. And it could be really fun, like being right here with Talea, Estalia, and the Border Princes, and over here. So I think that might be my next Dowie campaign to go with this new DLC. It could be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the announcement, and I wanted to make this video before it happens because it's fun to see what you thought. You kind of like freeze it in time, and then you go back and see what actually happened. And for anyone who really wants to pay attention to this and keep track to this, I would highly recommend you go to Lore Master of Sotek's channel. Now, I watch a lot of YouTubers, and there are a lot of great lore channels. I know he's going to be running a live stream for the news tomorrow, and he is big on the lore. I get a lot of my lore directly from him. I love his speculation, and he doesn't think it'll be quite like what I think, but that's fine. He'll probably be more right because he's much better at the lore. But he will be doing a live stream tomorrow, so I would definitely pay attention to his channel. And if you don't got the bell notifications on, put them on his channel if you're subscribed. Then you'll get a notification when he goes live for the news, and he'll break it down extremely well, and will be able to keep you updated. You know, if you are you know, doing something else and you just want to have a notification pop up and tell you, hey, the news is out. We're going to see some pirates, and like, this is gonna be great, right? Like, so, this is like, pirates are so rich in, you know, art and culture and stuff like this, and this is going to bring a fantastic part to the game. I can already see the multiplayer, you know, scene with, you know, Turin and Janet on occasion, and Hair of Carthage, and everyone doing some of their best pirate impressions and some of the pirate memes that are going to come out. Multiplayer is going to be a blast for the next 2 months, all the way up to Christmas. Absolutely, when these come out, multiplayer is going to be really fun. Much better than when the Tomb Kings came out. The Tomb Kings were fun, but they didn't have as much kind of, you know, that they didn't have as much life, you know, as much fun, as much lore, and as many things to meme about. Really, you know, what kind of memes are you gonna have about a skeleton warrior, which is already in the game? I mean, there's gonna be plenty, and I hope we see halflings, and I hope we see ogres, and I hope we see some really fun mercenary units, and I hope we see fell bats dropping bloated corpses and really crazy Vampire Coast units, because they have a lot of room to play. CA does with adding or stretching out some of the units in their army roster. So anyways, hope you found it interesting. Go over to Lore Master of Sotek's channel. Make sure you're subscribed and get his bell notification for when he goes on, because I know that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna like, I don't use my bell notifications ever, but I'm using it tomorrow because I just want to see what it pops out so I can tune into his live chat. And if you're tuned in there, say hello. I'll probably text in hello too. I'll slip out for lunch or whatever I can do to get for a half an hour so I can just listen to what's going on. So I'll say hi to me tomorrow. With that said, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow online on Lore Master of Sotek's channel. And if I don't, I hope you found the video interesting, and I will make a follow-up video at some point to see where my predictions landed for this DLC. Have a good one.